You know, they don't let you see these videos. That's the first time I saw that. I want to clear up something for my children. They said, Dad, do you have it written down or somewhere? I said, no, and they said, it's all right up here. I said, well, yeah, and it's also right down here in front of me. I want to say to my wife, Jody, y'all saw that picture of her. I was 26, she was 21. That was 34 years ago. And she's given us just two fantastic children. So I want to say thank you to them. I want to say thank you to Steve Joyner for nominating me. And, you know, we by the way, in 1976, I'm not sure what class I was taking, but I do remember the score of the Alabama-Georgia game. It was 21-0. Kirby, you weren't even born yet, were you? You know, that was a great moment. So thank you. I am humbled and honored. Congratulations to Steve and Stephanie as well. You know, the last, y'all saw that where I was talking to the accounting students. So I get there, I'd driven all the way from Chattanooga, Tennessee to see this group, and I get there and they said, you've got 5 minutes. I said, if you think I drove 3 hours for 5 minutes, you were sadly mistaken. And I wore those kids out for at least 30 minutes. I'm not going to do that to your group tonight. But I do want to talk mostly to the students, right? I mean, I'm on the back nine. I've hit my tee shot on 18. There's a lot of really successful people in this room. There's no question about it, much more successful than I. But there are just a few things that I think back over all these years I've learned. I'm like, man, I wish I'd have known that. But you don't. You learn as you go through. So maybe there's a chance that I'll give you something that you'll say, wow, I'm glad I heard that. The first is, everybody says don't sweat the small stuff. And I'm going to tell you, sweat everything. Everything that you do matters. It makes a difference. I mean, believe it or not, climatologists once tried to prove that hurricanes were started on one side of the world by a simple butterfly flapping its wings on the other. If you don't think things matter, I'm telling you, every little thing does matter. Now, as you go through your career, you're going to work with a lot of different people. Some of them you're going to love working with, some maybe not so much. But you become your own person through all those different experiences. And if you can simply take all the good things from the people that you worked with and then don't do any of the things that they did that you didn't love, over time, that's how you become a professional. So build your own brand. It'll be an experiences from a lot of different people, and invest in yourself. Today, the world's changing so quickly that in order to be relevant, you've got to constantly be investing in yourself. I used to always say, man, I'm going to learn something every day. And when I said, I've learned something, I'm out of here. So most days, I could leave my office at 8 o'clock because I learn something every day if I can. Invest in others. You know, there are a lot of really successful people in the world, but not a single one of them ever got there by doing it on their own. It just doesn't work that way. And the way you invest in others is you can do something in accounting that I could do it in 30 minutes and it's going to take me an hour to explain to someone else how to do it. But the reality is when you take that hour, you've developed that person and then they care for you. And when your moment comes, when you need their help, they're going to be there for you. You go as far as those others will take you in life. Now here's something that is going to be kind of interesting because for most of our students, you've never failed at anything. But I'm going to tell you the most important thing to think about is you learn more from when you fail than you ever do from your successes if you embrace that. You have to embrace it. You don't want to rationalize it. Yeah, but I did this other thing. Embrace your failures. You will learn more from that than you ever do from the things that you win. I once had a chance to talk to a group of our Shaw associates that had won this big award. It was the Circle of Distinction, and there was 80 people in the room, and as like anyone, I got up and I congratulated each one of them, told them what a wonderful job they did and how much we appreciated each and every one of them. And then I asked them a question. I said, may I see a show of hands of all those in the room tonight that don't plan on being here next year? No hands went up. That means you have to have high expectations of yourself, right? You don't settle for less. Those that were in that room, they knew they were going to be there that next year. Now, having high expectations of yourself is different from being unfounded cockiness. It means you're doing the things that prepare you to be successful. But have high expectations of yourself. If you don't, very few other people will. Warren Buffett once told me how you settle an ethical dilemma in your own mind. I want you to hear this. My children have heard it. They could probably quote it. Here's what he says. He says, whatever decision you're about to make, imagine that decision is going to be reported on in your local newspaper, written by a reporter who's well-informed, well-educated, and highly critical of you. And that newspaper will be read the following day by every member of your family and all of your friends. Man, I wish I'd have thought about that a long time ago, right? But when you're challenged, think about whatever that decision is that way. By the way, there's a lot of people that are going to be very successful in the business world. Here's one other thing Warren tells you. There's plenty of money to be made out in the center of the court. Don't get near the sidelines. And don't ever step out of bounds, because there's no reason to. Plenty of money to be made in the middle of the court. You saw on the video, and this is what I believe in my heart. I believe that to whom much is given, much is required. What that means is that we all have special talents. Mine might be accounting. Mine might be a volunteer. I might have had some amount of financial success where I can donate back to the University of Georgia. But find your way to give back, because honestly, we're placed on this earth, I believe, to a certain degree to make the lives of others around us better. That's why we're here. So remember that, and it'll help you, and you'll want to give back to the University of Georgia. And then the last thing, and I'm going to drop this microphone right now. Anybody remember who Anne Frank was? Okay, I know all the young people do. Okay, so Anne Frank fled Nazi Germany in 1940 and ended up in Amsterdam, where a family hid her for 2 years. And here's what I want to tell you. In a world where it's all about how much I can accumulate, what kind of car do I have, how many houses do we have, the truest measure of wealth for any person is if you're, at the end of your life, if you're Anne Frank, how many people would hide you? Right? How many people would hide you? And when your answer to that question is a whole lot of people, you're a wealthy person indeed. Thank you very much.